Good morning and welcome to the Opportunistic Trader. It's about 7:45 and we're joined by Greg Schwake, who is the founder and president of North Hero Trading, discussing FX and other macro topics. Good morning, Greg. How's it going?
Good morning, TGIF. Thank God.
TGIF for sure. So it's been a pretty active week, but yields have moved higher. The dollar has moved a little lower. Right now, the dollar's a little stronger. But what's on the radar?
Well, it's been an active week if you're not a perma bear and you're looking for some bounce and risk. It's been a really nice bounce in all risk assets. And as we've mentioned privately, ever since the announcement of the tariffs came out, that risk is it's been game on for risk. You've seen Aussie and Kiwi rally. You've seen some really nice rallies in some of the EM currencies. Um, Mostly dollar ZAR. Has appreciated, but there's still the three main themes that we spoke about in the past: tariffs, Brexit, and NAFTA. I just mentioned the first one, tariffs. That's sort of on the back burner now. I think this is a long-term thing now. We're going to see how it impacts companies, and if I mean, obviously Trump thinks that China is going to blink, but it doesn't look like they're going to blink, and they're planning on some talks, but we don't have anything material yet. So, as Larry mentioned, some of these companies might come out, equity companies, and say, "Hey, our earnings are being impacted here." So you might also see that in the economic data in the next month or two ahead.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to monitor. I brought up a chart for everybody to see Aussie yen, which is typically like the FX barometer in G10 of risk. And we were trading 79 about 10 days ago, and right now we're trading 82. So that reflects what you're saying. Despite some of the trade talk, we've had a strong risk rally.
And let me just remind everybody that's listening, when we speak of risk on and risk off or risk rally, when we typically always when equities rally or there's good news for the global economy, it's usually risk on. And what is risk on? It's usually bonds lower, interest rates higher, stocks higher, um, Aussie and Kiwi, which are impacted many times from the success or the poor atmosphere in China. So Aussie, if China rallies, Aussie and Kiwi rallies, and risk on also traditionally means a better bid in all EM currencies and stocks. And risk off is obviously the opposite of all those trades. I'm sorry, Mike, if I cut you off there.
No, not at all. The other interesting point from this 10-day chart of risk and S&P and things of that nature is each Monday we had an ugly start to the week, and I think it even carried over to Tuesday morning. And then the rest of Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday for the past 2 weeks has been risk on pretty heavy in equities and currencies. Uh, you know,
And then, so the first thing we covered the tariffs. The second thing is what's going on with Brexit. The EU leaders met with May in Salzburg, Austria, and May did not have a warm reception. There's still a lot of red lines that Europe doesn't want to give in on, and the UK doesn't want to give it either. I posted two interesting articles on the Opportunistic website. You can have a look there. The, the nitty gritty is very confusing. I mean, if you're like me, I had to read it a few times. So have a look there. But the pound is lower, about a big figure lower today. That on the rejection and of Theresa May's checkers plan, she might have to go back to the drawing board. And this morning, the chief negotiator for the UK has been on the BBC and is said, "Hey, we put our best foot forward. The EU has to give a little, but right now it looks like a stalemate." They're planning on an October summit, but if you've been trading for the last 10 years, you know how these summits go. They go down to the wire, and hopefully they'll cobble something together.
so are you just
Uh,
purely trading the headlines in Brexit and on the pound, or is
well,
there a view that you can
I've
have?
been, as I mentioned to you in many of the podcasts, uh, as well as on your website, I've been buying dips in pounds. I thought they were going to get a deal, and I really think all the news has been really good. They keep saying 80 or 90% of the Brexit has been approved. There are some tough issues, but I think we've come a decent way here. That I think I'm just going to stay out of it now. That might have been it for a little bit, and we need to see where May comes back to the drawing board, and you might get some news over the weekend if there's any changes in her stance or worries about her a challenge to her leadership.
Yeah, so we'll keep an eye on that. What about dollar China? That's kind of flatlined over the past few weeks. Any views there? Any thoughts on what's moving that?
Well, you don't hear as much daily rumblings about um, the trade war as you did a week ago or 2 weeks ago. And the Chinese markets have had a nice bounce there. And the Chinese government has also come out, I believe, and said they don't want a massive depreciation in in the yuan. So I'm just looking at right now. You can bring it up. It's probably a good chart to bring up on a screen. Uh, the A shares, Chinese A shares. We've had a great rally in the last week there. So if you
Yeah,
have a,
it's come from the brink down over 20%. Now we're down roughly 15% for the year.
yeah, so that's a nice bounce. So that's another reason why it's been pretty flat line.
One question I also had here, just looking at Vince is typing in the Q&A, and once again, for everybody listening, feel free to ask questions. But Vince is saying, it's now that it seems EM are investable, again, based on Blackstone and Goldman Sachs buying EM debt, what secondary pairs does Greg see potential opportunity in?
In EM,
Yeah,
it's a tough call because as far as buying EM, it's a tough call because you're really subject to a lot of headline risk. And as interest rates go higher, which they have been, it's higher rates is a real negative for EM. But if I had to bet on one, it might be the Mexican peso. And but that really is subject to headline risk. And that was the third topic I wanted to discuss that are besides tariffs and Brexit is where the NAFTA negotiations stand.
right, that's gone quiet.
Yeah, it's gone very quiet, and Freeland has gone back to Canada, and they were working around the clock, but still nothing. I think one of the main sticking points is they feel that if they do make an agreement, they want reassurance that the U.S. can't come over the top and put on these steel and aluminum tariffs. They want that to be settled, so they don't want to agree, and they know also that they have a little bit of an upper hand because Congress won't approve anything unless it's a tri-party agreement. But if they can cobble something together, and it looks slim, that the peso should appreciate some.
Yeah, it's interesting also, just with the way the markets work. Just even going back earlier this summer, and Larry always likes to talk about it as well. But it's, for about 2 week period, 3 week period, it was all dollar turkey, turkey, passed her on, passed her off, NAFTA, and then all of a sudden it goes quiet. It's the talk of everything for a few days, and then things kind of go quiet. And that's kind of, I feel like, where we are with NAFTA. Remember, there was a time when there was a deadline that came and passed. Dollar CAD was moving in big figure range at the time, based on will it happen, won't it happen, and here we are a few months later, or a few weeks later at least. And
Yeah, that's really it's. I've spoken to a few people, and they thought that everyone would come back from vacation, and September trading would be pretty exciting, and that vol would pick up. But you had a really exciting August, and this week really went quiet. If you're an investor and a buyer of risk, it's been very good for you. But if you're a speculator, it's been very quiet market. So that's it's you got to make hay when you
so,
can.
so what are you looking at right now and for the weekend? Any trades based on anything that might be coming out today that we should keep a close eye on? Is there a certain headline, whether it be Brexit or from the U.S., anything, or NAFTA, that we're looking at for today and or over the weekend, when we're sitting over the weekend reading, drinking coffee, waiting to see what headlines might come out?
Well, over the weekend, I'm looking to shoot under 80 and take some money from my friends. So that's what I'm hoping.
Not bad.
But but as far as risk today, I think it has a lot to do with retail sales and CPI in Canada. That's really the only thing I'm looking at. That's the only real major thing on the agenda, and it's in about a half an hour. And over the weekend, I like to Sunday morning. I love to sit down and read everything, get ready for the open in Wellington, and that would be more Brexit news and anything coming from China on tariffs. So the three main topics, I think you have to keep your finger on those three: tariffs for one, Brexit, and NAFTA. Those are the things driving the markets, and that's the flavor of the week, flavor of the month that you have to try to follow as much as you can on.
Yeah. All right. Thanks a lot, Greg. Keep us updated in the chat as you see things. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, have a great weekend, everybody.
All right. Talk to you later.
Thank you.